Alright guys, what's up y'all and what's good? It's your boy Jordan back for another video here, and Clippers won tonight at Paul George's return in LA from the lineup, from injured reserve to the lineup. So what a win for the Clippers of 121 to 115 over the Utah Jazz. So since winning without Kawhi but bringing Paul George back in the lineup, I gotta say Paul George is back, but I'm happy that he's back. It's nothing what you say. Especially Marcus Smart Sr.'s keeping the lineup straight going with Amir Coffey and especially you going with so many guys like Robert Covington and Norman Powell, and especially for the Clippers. Clippers win tonight against Utah. From tonight, so Donovan Mitchell had his best talented player ever. So everyone knows about Donovan Mitchell, but everyone knows about Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert's kind of good, but, especially Kawhi Leonard's better than Donovan Mitchell. Who cares? Especially Paul George better than Rudy Gobert. Who cares? Paul George is still best, but he's the beast now. But he's back after he got out of injured reserve from the injured reserve company. But, it's not that bad, but, it's always to be easy if you are just getting the one that wants to get into the lineup with the Clippers. And is the best way from a Clippers win, from losing to winning. But, it's from the up and downs. If you lose Paul George or Kawhi, who cares? Let's win and keep going without these guys. But, Paul George is already back, but, and sometimes really, if you think about that, but however, so Clippers has been making playoff games with so many Clipper coaches, all the Clipper coaches, but including Doc Rivers, and it was Doc Rivers, and then it was Tyronn Lue. Yeah. So Tyronn Lue helped us last year to make it to the first Western Conference Final of the year last year since 2021. But in 2022, if we get out of play-in tournament, we're going to get another playoff position for the Clippers if we faced any teams who they got. But by the way, for the Clippers, we got this. So we got more games to go until April at the end of NBA season to get in the playoffs, but play-in tournament. But, the other teams is still going, but the Celtics and the Bulls, I don't know what the Bulls are doing, but the Celtics lost last night against Toronto. But especially as I'm a Clipper fan, I like the Celtics too. But, I always compared it with Doc Rivers and Paul Pierce. And Rondo, yeah, Rondo was a Celtic and a Laker, but a Celtic and a Clipper too. Sorry about that. From the reason everyone thinks about Paul Pierce or Doc Rivers, if you think about like a former Clipper and a Piston, Chauncey Billups, who cares? Chauncey Billups was on the Clipper team since he was with Detroit, and especially not much is like everyone knows about the greatest one, Michael Jordan, like Kobe Bryant and LeBron and Kawhi. But yeah, Kawhi and MJ, and then Bron. MJ, Kawhi, and then Larry Bird. But Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, but they know about it. But I always liked Michael Jordan as well as a Clipper fan, as brought up to a Bulls fan since I was younger. Then I become younger and older. Besides me as a Clipper, Bulls, and Thunder and Celtic fan, as a Piston and a Mavs and Knicks fan, as especially the Heat fan. Especially the Heat is going good, but the Suns are good. But the Grizzlies already get in the playoffs to clinch it all. If Denver's in, Denver's going to be in. But if the Clippers get in or getting out of play-in tournament, they're going to the playoffs or they're out. Because every Anaheim suffering of a sports team is comparing with Anaheim and Inglewood and Carson. Much as you compare to Orange County, Inglewood, and Carson, like my cities of Orange County, Anaheim, Inglewood, Carson, LA. But especially San Diego. But especially New York, Montreal, and Madrid. And then Barcelona. And especially Boston. Especially Chicago and Green Bay. Duke and North Carolina. Michigan, Ohio State. And then Masters. Everyone knows it. But yeah. So it's a way to win from trailing to getting back on top. So Clippers trail, and then they came back against the Jazz. What a way what a way for the Clippers to come back against Utah from last year's playoff game when we beat the Jazz in 6. But we did beat the Mavericks in 7 in the deciding game 7. But we lost to Phoenix in game 6 because they were telling me, a lot of Suns fans were telling me as a Clipper fan, they were saying Suns of 4, and I was telling them, I don't care, Suns of 4 or Suns of 6, and I said, we'll see. I was telling a bunch of Suns fan by my Clipper fan, and then when my Clippers lose game 1, there was a bad sportsmanship after the game. Clipper fans go after Suns fan when they have a fan fight, but it's called fan fight. It's a bad sportsmanship. You get kicked out, and then you get subjected to arrested. And you probably proceed to trade Bledsoe to Portland to exchange for Norman Powell. And you exchange for Robert Covington, which you trade for somebody else right after the fact. So since we kept Kawhi, when he's done with his injury, we get in the playoffs. Or if we don't, season's over. As much as like what I said, Anaheim, Inglewood, and Carson, and Orange County, and LA teams that is being supported by me. But especially like San Diego and Montreal, Madrid, Barcelona, New York. Especially Boston. And then it's like the Celtics. But yeah, except the Celtics. They're the greatest because they have 17-time NBA title. It's tied with the Lakers. If my Clippers don't win the first NBA title since making it to the first finals, then the Celtics can capture 18. But Boston can do it. Like what they did in 2008 when they beat the rival Lakers, when they beat LA. Boston Celtics had big threes. Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett. But as soon as possible, it's my Clippers' chance to be an NBA title contender, or you don't be a contender to be a first NBA title of the year to get a ring. So, what a way to win for the Clippers, and it's your boy Jordan, and I'm out. Clipper Nation for life. Go Clippers.